Couple more days in lovely Napa. This place is so quiet and so peaceful and so beautiful. Everything is so high end. And it's a great place. It makes me think. I am walking dogs. They're here somewhere. They're back there. Hi, dogs. All right, here's my rant of the day. Does obedience teach impulse control? Does obedience build a relationship with your dog? I have a great story for that. Of course, I didn't think of it because there's always wiser people. But impulse control. So I've never been there, but I've seen on the Nature Channel, when you go to a big piece of land somewhere far, far away, you can't divide the land up. And this is the piece for the giraffes, and this is the piece for the zebras, and this is where the lions go. They all, predators and prey animals, share the land. So how does that work? Because of consequences. Consequences also create impulse control. So I spent the last 3 days, with 3 different dogs. Not one time did I use sit, stay, down, back up, or anything to create impulse control. What I used was consequences. And no, not consequences from breaking a sit and having to take them back and sit. I thought more even, well, why am I asking them to sit in the first place? Why do I need this dog to sit? And more importantly, why do they sit? So, impulse control, I think, could also be taught, and is better taught, by teaching consequences. And then, what everybody asks next, how do you do that? That's not my job. I can't just, say 3 things in a video and expect that people are going to totally get it. Because I didn't get it. It's taken me years to put these little pieces together. Things I learned last week clicked 5 years ago when I was watching, 10 years ago when I was watching Caesar's show when I first started. Oh, that's why he did that. Right? And I didn't see it. My vision was other places. So I just really, my plan is to really try to help get more information out there. I've found ways that make sense to dogs. Makes the most sense to dogs because it's the way they think. And to go back to the jungle, the impulse control is created by consequences. How do I know if I want to go eat that berry? Well, I look around and I say, is there a lion here? Is there a tiger here? Is there something? So consequences from previous experiences made me thoughtful, which then to me builds impulse control. Number 2, if you really understand brain chemistry in animals and people, adrenaline is made for energy, not memory. So if you're going to sit there and tell me that you're going to get this great relationship with this dog that's going to do all these amazing things when you have them in a mind state that's not created for long-term memory, then how are they supposed to remember? Right? Interview a police officer after they've been in a gunfight. Oh, I think there was 3. No, wait, I think there was 6 shots. Right? Because their brain wasn't thinking. It was reacting. It was surviving. Now, if we learn about other chemicals that go against adrenaline, things like learning from consequences, touching the stove. How many times did you have to do that? Not many times, right? It's hot. So those are the long-term memory creation chemicals, I guess you would say. I'm not a biologist, but so if you're using energy that's meant for the hunt, excitement, predatory behaviors, to stop excitement, predatory-based behaviors, then you're going to be training for a long time, And eventually your clients are going to give up, or the people are going to give up because it's not going to make sense. They're going to feel like a failure. Why can't I do this? Why can't I just take a walk with my dogs? Like, why do I have to like carry all this stuff? And if they look that way, then do this and all these moves. Why don't I just let them be and then tell them what I don't like? Right? Let them figure out through their life and their choices. And that's how dogs balance themselves out, as by looking at the consequences for their actions. So I was just walking and I see all the comments and stuff, and I love it because it just makes me think. Like, the comments to me make me think more about what I'm doing. Right? I don't have to stand behind it. I don't have a stake in the ground. I don't own courses or anything that I need my money to be based on. My job in my life is to make sure these guys are best understood. That's what I signed up for. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the way humans created the thought process of training, right? It's about, how does this dog, who used to fight with her neighbor, in 3 days go over for wine last night? That's a long way if I'm thinking about old school. 6-week obedient class. Come and teach them to sit, and then these dogs are going to approach. And then all that crap. It's just not natural. I've never seen, this is another one that's not mine, and I totally give credit to everybody because I don't want to ever steal anybody's stuff, but I've never seen a dog walk up to another dog and sit and say, okay, now you can sniff me. Right? That's totally going against what they believe. If I had done that to the dog that was the other dog, the golden retriever, I could have caused her to be reactive. I ask her to sit and then another dog smells her, or I ask her to sit, I cap energy and then ask her to do something. Well, now she feels trapped, right? So, I mean, if you really want to talk about it, I don't know if obedience creates impulse control or could make it worse, right? I know a lot of dogs that want to run away from a situation get forced to be in a down and then lunge at dogs. Well, you're getting close. Oh, you're getting close, but I'm in my stay, so I must be doing it right. And then all of a sudden they're too close, and then boom, they lunge. I don't know why. He was supposed to be in a down stay, okay? Well, the emotions for what he was feeling were stronger than your downstay. Do you know why? Because they make sense to him. They make sense. So of course he's going to have more extreme reaction to that feeling than he is for the ones that you're trying to put into his brain that he does not make sense to him. He does not have a clear understanding of why you're asking him to lay down. Does that mean obedience is bad? Everybody hates it. No, it's advanced. It's very, very advanced. I practiced my obedience yesterday, right? I don't have my Shih Tzu with me, but she met the herding dog who lunges and climbs the end of the leash and blah, 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 right? And when we walked up, because I wanted to gauge the reaction, I had her on leash. And because she's so social, when I stopped her from going to meet the dog, she didn't care. Because there's no frustration, there's no stress from not being able to interact with the dog. So she just was like, oh, I guess we're not meeting this dog. This is like when we go to the grocery store and we're outside or we're at the, it's just what it is. When we were done, I took them in the dog park. That's the video I took so that everybody could see it. They say, look, you guys are all friends. Just in that moment, you couldn't react. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just close with one of my favorite sayings since I've learned it from, you guessed it, Brandon Fouché. You might not have a dog training problem, but you might have a problem because of dog training. And if right away that tickles something in you, maybe it's time to look and think. Because ultimately these are the ones that pay the price. Because it's very easy for the people with the frontal lobe to create their own bullshit story about, oh, that dog was bad. That was a bad one. My trainer told me to euthanize him because he was bad. Oh, really? Well, I had one last week that was supposed to be like that, 6-month-old puppy, and he's at home now having a happy life. Right? I mean, it's not because of me, but because of what I've learned from them. It's nothing to do with me. The only thing I did was watch and say, oh, that's what she's probably telling me, and I don't like that. So, in closing, you might not have a dog training problem, but you could have a problem because of dog training. So, I'm excited. I hope people leave comments. I hope it doesn't make sense to people so we can talk more about it. But ultimately, the results don't lie. So if anybody out there has been taking obedience class after obedience class after obedience class and nothing is getting better, and sometimes I've found it actually gets worse, then don't give up. Don't give up. It's possible. Totally possible. So, from beautiful Napa, these hills, this is my rant today. Thank you everybody for humoring me and listening. And that's it. Tell them bye, Zine. Her parents come home Saturday. They're going to be excited.